Have your journal and a pencil ready to go, and here we go. Let's begin. Let's first look at the objective. Today I want you to learn to use, or begin learning to use the order of operations to solve equations. Now, another word for equations is math problems. Now, some vocabulary you may see. Numerical expression is, again, it's another word for a math problem. Now, in this case, it's math problems that include only numbers and operation symbols. And right here, we have some examples of some numerical expressions. For instance, right here, we have 4 plus 8 divided by 2 times 6. That would be a numerical expression or a math problem, or as we said up here, an equation. Second, we have 371 minus 203 plus 2. And last but not least, you can see the last one. Next thing we need to look at right here, is order of operations. Now, the order of operations tell you in what order you should do things in an equation or a math problem. And last, we have the word evaluate. Evaluate means to solve or find the value of an equation. So if I ask you to evaluate a math problem or evaluate an equation, I'm asking you to solve it, find the answer. Okay, here's an example of a time where you might need to think about in what order should you do things. Erica and Jamie are at the Texas Ranger game. They want to purchase a bag of peanuts and 4 large Pepsi drinks. The peanuts cost $3, the large drinks cost $6. They disagree about how much it should cost. Who is correct? So what I need you to do is do some thinking here. Take a minute, pause, look at both of their ideas. Here's Erica's idea and here's Jamie's idea for how to figure out how much money they owe. And I want you to pause it right here, do something about what you would do, and see who you agree with. The person who's correct is Erica, right here. So let's look at why we believe she is correct. Just a moment. If you look at her equation, she chose to do this first, 4 times 6, because the 4 times 6 is the 4 drinks right here times the $6 that they cost. She did that first to figure out they need $24 just for the drinks, then add the price of the peanuts. Whereas Jamie added the $3 for the peanuts and the 4 drinks together. You can't add $3 and 4 drinks. That doesn't really give you any answer. You can't add things that are unlike. So, in this case, you should have done the 4 times 6 equals 24 first. Now, this is a good way to remember what order you should do things. It's called PEMDAS. The first thing we have is parentheses. So anytime you see a problem that has more than one thing to do, look and see if you have parentheses. If you do, you do that first. Then you move on to exponents. Now, you've seen exponents before. That a good time for you might see exponents is when you have like 3 to the 2nd power. That would be an exponent. Next, you're going to do multiplication and division as they appear left to right. So it doesn't matter which one comes first between multiplication and division. It doesn't matter that you do multiplication first or division first. You do them in whatever order they appear starting on the left. And then you do the same thing for addition and subtraction. You do any addition problems or subtraction problems in the order that they occur, starting on the left side of the problem, moving to the right side. Now, here's an example. And it asks us here in the directions to evaluate the expression. Evaluate, again, means to solve. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to look right here, and we're going to do parentheses. Do we have any parentheses? I don't see any parentheses, so we're going to move along. We'll mark that out. Now we're going to look at the next thing. Right here we have, right there we have exponents. Do you see any exponents? There are no exponents, so we can move to the next step. Next we have multiplication and division. Remember, we do them in the order they occur. It doesn't matter that you do multiplication first or division first. You start on the left side of the problem and work your way across. Now, I do see right here that we have 6 times 4. Now, we did have a plus here, but we're going to skip that because we do multiplication division first. So 6 times 4 is 24. Okay. And then I also see right over here we have 15 divided by 3, and that's 5. Now we can just copy the rest of the problem down. We can copy the 5 plus, and we can copy the subtraction sign right here. Now, you can see here that we now have two problems. The first problem we have is this. We have an addition problem right here, and we have a subtraction problem here, so we're going to do them in the order that they occur. Starting on the left. So we're going to do this first. 5 plus 24 will be 29. And then minus 5. And now we can do that part. 29 minus 5 would be 24. So our final answer would be 24. Let's look at a different example. Okay, example problem number 2. Again, first thing we're going to do is we're going to look for parentheses. We don't see any, so we can move on to our next, which would be exponents. I do see an exponent right here. So 3 squared, or 3 to the second power, would be 3 times 3. Okay, so 3 times 3 is 9. Bring that down. Now we can just copy the rest of the problem. 4 times 5 minus 18 divided by 9. So we're done with exponents. We're going to move on to multiplication and division from left to right. So I see a multiplication problem here, and I see a division problem here. We're going to start on the left. 4 times 5 is 20, minus whatever we have here in the division problem, 18 divided by 9 would be 2. So now all we have left is 20 minus 2, which would be 18. Now, if you had done it just starting left to right, you would have had 4 times 5 is 20, minus 18 would give you 2, and then 2 divided by this 3 squared, well, 2 divided by 9 would give you a number less than 1, and you would be considerably off the correct answer. Example number 3. Okay, so first thing we look at, parentheses. And yes, we do have parentheses, so we're going to do this first. 7 times 3. We can bring that straight down. The answer to that would be 21. And we can copy the rest of the problem down. 28 minus 4 squared plus the 21 equals. Okay, next thing we look at right here is exponents, and yes, we do have exponents right here, so let's bring that down. 4 squared is 4 times 4. Just remember that 4 times 4 would be 16, and we can copy the rest of the problem down now. 28, it's an 8, minus 16 plus 21 equals. Okay, now we have just a subtraction multiplication division is next. I don't see any multiplication division. Now, there was the beginning multiplication division, but remember that was inside the parentheses, so we did that first. I don't see any multiplication division left, so now we can move to addition and subtraction. Now we're going to start on the left. 28 minus 16 would be 12 plus 21. And now we can do 12 plus 21 would be 33. So we can put that either down there at the bottom or right over here, doesn't matter. Circle your answer. Let's move to the next example. Okay, so next to last example. Right here, PEMDAS. Parentheses is first, and yes, we do have parentheses right here. So 12 minus 8 is 4, and then we're going to copy down the rest of the problem. Okay, now, next thing on our list of things is, do we have any exponents? And we do. 2 squared, so let's bring that answer down. 2 squared would be 4. And now we can copy down the rest of the problem. 32 divided by 4 plus the answer that we just got, minus 10. Now, We have multiplication and division, left to right. So let's start on the left side, and yes, we do have one. 32 divided by 4. That would be 8. Oh, let's fix that down there. That's kind of weird. Now, one thing I want you to notice is the steps, how I go down. I'm doing one operation on each line, and that's the way I want you to write your problems out. After you fold your paper in fourths, I want it to look just like this, so you keep things in the exact order. So we've done multiplication division, there's none left, so now we can go to addition and subtraction starting on the left. 8 plus 4 would be 12 minus 10. And now all we have left is 12 minus 10, which is 2. So 2 is the final answer. That's kind of how I want your problems to look, one step at a time. We do one problem here, where we did 12 minus 8 in the parentheses. Then we did the 2 squared. Then we did our multiplication division. Then we did our addition subtraction. There was an addition problem on the left, subtraction problem next. There's our answer. Okay, last problem. Let's look at that. Okay, start at the beginning of PEMDAS again. Parentheses are first. Okay, whoa. Let's get our parentheses first. Do we have parentheses? We do. 11 minus 8 would be 3. Now we can copy the rest of the problem straight down. Okay, next we have exponents. And we do have some exponents right here, 2 to the third power. Let's see what that is. Now that, I believe 2 to the third power means 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, and then 4 times 2 would be 8. So let's copy that down. So I copied the rest of the problem down. Now we move on to multiplication and division. So we skip the 24 minus 3 and we go directly to the multiplication. 3 times 8, bring that down. That gives us 24, and then we'll bring the rest of it down. Okay, so I don't see any more multiplication and division now that we brought everything down, so we can just move on to addition and subtraction. So now we have 24 minus 24. That's simple. 0. And we copied on the rest of the problem, minus 11. Now that's all we have left, so 0 minus 11. Well, if you have 0 and you take away 11, you have negative 11. And that would be your final answer, negative 11. Now, let's move to the next thing. Now, okay, so this is check for understanding or quiz or whatever you want to call it. You are responsible for all of these problems. You must do them. You must show all of your work for each of them. Get a piece of notebook paper, or graph paper, fold it into 4. You should be able to do all of these on, do 4 on one side and I guess number 5 on the back side. You are responsible for having the answers and the work for each of these tomorrow. Make sure you come with this as well as any questions or areas you need clarification on, and we will start with those things tomorrow morning. I will also be checking for notes. This would be the time to pause. See you tomorrow.